Flanked by policymakers, Governor Abbott leads 2 high-profile visits to Eagle Pass and promises to send more troops to the border.
We are dealing with the biggest border crisis since America had borders.
But some who live along the border are pushing back.
I really don't like this political theater that is using my hometown for its own purposes.
The community response amid the political fight over border policy. Documents reveal a multi-million-dollar bill to bus migrants out of Texas. Who's paying for it, and how does the cost compare to keeping migrants in the Lone Star State? Bullying in school. It's a big concern for many Texas parents, and some state lawmakers are paying attention.
What are we doing as a state to focus on creating a safe environment? What does a safe environment mean?
Our investigation looks closer at concerns from parents and why there's little state oversight when it comes to how schools handle discipline.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Governor Greg Abbott led 2 high-profile delegations to Eagle Pass in the past week. Last Sunday, he welcomed 14 governors from around the nation to the border city. At a news conference streamed live around the country, Abbott reiterated his belief that the state has both the right and responsibility to protect its borders. He vowed to continue fighting the federal government over that authority. Abbott also promised to send more National Guard troops to prevent illegal border crossings. On Thursday, the governor was back in Eagle Pass, this time with a delegation of state representatives. Most of the lawmakers represent districts far from South Texas, but they say the importance of stopping illegal immigration goes far beyond the border.
This is the #1 issue, not just to my district, not just to this state, but to Americans across the country. And so to every American out there, Texas has your back. Governor Abbott has your back.
Governor Abbott did not announce new border policy plans at Thursday's event, but he did give credit to the lawmakers with him for supporting the funding that makes Operation Lone Star possible. The border visits came on the same week as bipartisan immigration legislation failed on Capitol Hill. That failure is bringing frustration for some locals and leaders in Eagle Pass. They say national leaders portray their community as a place in crisis while failing to find solutions. Our Ryan Chandler looks at the reality on the ground amid the political battles.
These are the scenes driving the national narrative around Eagle Pass. But some of the locals in the town of just 30,000 say it usually looks more like this.
Our backyard is just being used as a political prop. Many of them expect that there's just a lot of chaos going down here in Eagle Pass, that there's a lot of uncertainty, that we're being overrun by migrants, and that's not the case at all.
Eagle Pass native Eddie Morales represents almost 800 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border. He pressed Speaker Johnson on Monday to pass the Senate's border security bill, writing, "Our communities are looking to see if we are left out to dry." That bill reached a dead end on Tuesday.
It's very disappointing. We need a fix, and we needed it yesterday.
Locals worry Eagle Pass has seen more press conferences than policy fixes. Speaker Johnson and Governor Abbott have hosted recent media appearances in the same park now closed to the public.
I really don't like this political theater that is using my hometown for its own purposes.
The Senate bill would have provided billions to speed up asylum processing and help local communities like Eagle Pass better handle migrants. With no progress in sight, residents are wary that the politics are overshadowing the reality in their hometown.
I'd like to have our park back, and I'd like to have our way of life back.
Ryan joins us now. Now, Governor Abbott was in Eagle Pass twice in the last week, hosting different groups of lawmakers. What did we learn from those visits?
Right, so he brought a big group of governors from Republican states all across the country. Last Sunday, he brought a big group of state lawmakers down to Eagle Pass for another press conference on Thursday. Because if you're a Republican anywhere in the country running for election this year, you want to be seen on the border. It's the top issue for Republican voters, and Texas owns this issue. So he's getting a lot of political capital out of this and garnering support for Texas against the federal government in all the ongoing lawsuits that they have against each other. You see, though, if you've watched one of these press conferences, you've seen them all. He reiterates his support for Operation Lone Star. He justifies their presence in Shelby Park. And of course, he attacks the Biden administration's handling of immigration every chance he gets. We didn't see a whole lot of news this week. He did say he is going to be putting more troops, more National Guard troops on the border, even more so than he has now in Eagle Pass. Other than that, the details are very short. But that's really the core of the concerns that we've heard from Eagle Pass residents. They say that Governor Abbott has made their park that used to be public and a fun place to hang out on a Sunday, now a campaign stop for governors from out of state to visit on a Sunday. So they are concerned that they are coming down and not meeting with constituents or having a policy-oriented visit, but just coming for the media appearance and quickly leaving.
Yeah, well, the politics is one thing. The policy is another. What kind of tangible impact are Texas enforcement efforts having on border crossings?
So to be sure, Texas has seen a dramatic decrease in border crossings on most of the sectors that Customs and Border Protection patrols. Governor Abbott argued on Thursday that that's because of Operation Lone Star. Migrants don't want to come here, so they're going to other places. And to be sure, Arizona and California have seen huge spikes in crossings. The Tucson sector saw almost 3 times as many migrants in the last 3 months compared to the same period, last 3 months of 2023, that is, compared to the same period in 2022. San Diego saw a spike of 78%. El Paso, meanwhile, is down 51%. Laredo down 42%. The RGV down 18%. So those are all good numbers for Texas. Interestingly, though, the numbers in Eagle Pass, the Del Rio sector, rose by 7%. So it's hard to attribute this to Operation Lone Star or not, because the center of that operation is the only one that saw an increase in activity.
All right, Ryan, a lot to keep up with.
Lot to unpack.
Thank you very much. Busing migrants out of Texas, we dug up public records revealing the multi-million-dollar costs. Who's paying and who's getting the money? Bullying in school is a big concern for many parents. Why there's little state oversight of discipline in these cases. The state's top election official pushes back on fears of fraud.
I am 100% confident these elections are going to be run accurate, they're going to be fair.
Her message to voters amid questions about election integrity.